It is the top of the hour. It is a wonderful day in the neighborhood. We have brought sunshine, and we are so glad that you are choosing to be here with us. All right, time for our next guest.
I now have the pleasure of introducing Mitra Cummins. Mitra supports overwhelmed parents to regulate their nervous system and communicate with intention so they can stop living in survival mode and start enjoying family and life. Our mission is to create positive environments for learning and growth where kids thrive. This starts with the family, where parents break through their own limitations and become empowered. Mitra has a BA in Cognitive Linguistics, certified coach and trainer in Neuro-Linguistic Programming, trainer and trainer of mental and emotional release and hypnotherapy. 10 plus years supporting families through social emotional behavior and academic solutions. 5 plus years integrating ancient Hawaiian energy work into her practice. Welcome, Mitra. It is a pleasure to have you here today. That is a really interesting, wide-ranging resume you have there.
Yeah, it definitely lots of years of experience, and I'm so grateful to be here. Thank you both for having me.
Beautiful. Today, your talk title is The Missing Piece in Parenting Advice: How to Actually Regulate When You're Running on Empty. And yeah, it's one of those things that we've talked a lot about yesterday and today, that we are trying to help our kids, but we can't do it when we're not really connected in our space. So, what is it in your life, in your experience, that has given you this passion? What was that pivot point that's like, it's time to talk about this out loud to a lot more people?
Well, I'll share from my background first. In my 10 plus years of experience working with kids, I have worked with kids that were neurodiverse, kids that were neurotypical. And if you're a family member or you are neurodiverse or neurotypical and have this experience of how to navigate your own regulation, because we all regulate differently, but we all have the same system in that we do have a nervous system and we do have a body. It's just what tools are going to be easier and better for us. So over the past 10 plus years, I've helped so many families with that. And then the last 3 plus 3-ish years, I actually have had my own 2 kids, and I have been running on empty myself and had to really integrate what are the tools that could really help me and my family. And so I was able to pull from my own toolbox as well as learn from other professionals. And that's really just what I'm so grateful for about a community like this, is that we learn from one another all the time. And it's a beautiful gift to be here.
Thank you. Yeah. One of the things that you know, parents are, yeah, that's happening. The parent nervous system, of course, is really, really strained and I think one of the things that you love talking about is way back at the beginning, like right after birth, like that postpartum. How can we start way back in that time frame to even set us up for future times when our toddlers are running around and things like that? Help us out with that.
Yeah, I'm actually going to take us even further back to when you're pregnant or thinking about having kids.
Okay.
So when my husband and I, when we were dating, we were both working with kids together, and a fear that came up for me was that I was going to become my parents' regulation. So my dad was someone that would get really angry all the time and yell, and that's how he was able to just get out information and communicate. I knew that wasn't effective. And so I had this huge fear that I was going to turn into him and that I was going to be this angry parent. And in turn, I started becoming very angry internally. I'm a very smiley, very bubbly person, but internally, I started getting really angry all the time. And it would come out, especially in my relationships. And it wasn't until I went through my own personal growth journey starting around 2017, where I was unveiling certain patterns, unveiling strategies that were just no longer serving me. And things like communicating, things that just weren't working in my relationship, weren't working in my work setting. And I took not only ownership of my old habits, my old patterns, but I worked with other coaches to help navigate my regulation, my nervous system, to then go, okay, let's take a turn for it. So that's how you could do it before. But we're talking to parents now going, well, how do I take care of myself in this way? And I think you have to just understand that your nervous system, and I know many other professionals are talking about the nervous system, but I want to make sure we have a baseline together that your nervous system is a barometer about your stress levels throughout the day. You have your central nervous system, your brain, your spine. It's responsible for your emotional response, like the part of your brain, the amygdala. It sends off a response like, oh, fight or flight or freeze. And it tells you about the threats and the concerns. And then you have your peripheral nervous system, and that's just that physical sensation. It's your muscular system connected to your central, and it goes, okay, my heart is going to start racing more, or my breathing might increase, and that's your body's response to everything that's going on. And what can really happen over time is noticing, okay, what part of my nervous system is really stressing, or is it in a place of rest and digest, or peace is another way I think about it. So the stress response is the sympathetic nervous system. That's how we navigate the stress. That's how we navigate what is coming up in those moments. Then there's the parasympathetic nervous system. That's where the peace response is. So peace, para, stress, sympathetic. You here with me? So together, we can help navigate and go, okay, certain triggers that come up, like having kids, that's one of the biggest ones for parents. But then when you have kids, there are other big changes, like job changes. You may have a medical procedure, financial hardships. You may be moving. Your kids may be going to a new school or having difficulties. Maybe you have relationship challenges, like there's a divorce or there's a death in the family. So any major issue will create a trigger in your nervous system to go, something isn't working. And it's a matter of noticing that, because your kids can read you like a book, and they will throw out everything that's going to go, this is working and this isn't working. But here's the thing, we have to acknowledge when something isn't working in order to know to do something about it. So when we can understand that awareness, then we can make a change. And that's when we can make that awareness even grander.
So, what are some of the biggest mistakes that parents make when they're trying to regulate their nervous system? Because if they don't know, if they're not that aware, because again, that's one of those things that's just, oh yeah, you just recognize it. It's like that's like a huge first step. That's not something minor. So, what are the mistakes, and how do we get the parents to start recognizing it? The first step towards that, because again, sounds easy.
hmm Well, I look at it as, are you ignoring or trying to push through the challenge? And are you really feeling uncomfortable in a certain moment, transition situation? And is your body literally tensing up? Like, notice, is what is your body's response? If you were to lay in bed, is it running a mile a minute about all the things that you have to do throughout today and the next day? Or are you able to lay down and actually fall asleep? What are the shifts and changes that come up with that? Because when you can lay down and have a peaceful moment of, okay, my day is done. I've done whatever I need to do for the next day, prepared in whatever way, then you know your body can start calming down and actually fall asleep. And I'm using sleep as just an example. Another example is, imagine when you're deep cleaning your own house. So sometimes some people as cleaners, but just imagine you're deep cleaning your own house. You got to get to the baseboards. You got to get through all of the mess that you and your kids make throughout the day, right? And it gets messier before it gets clean. Have you noticed that as well? Like when you're cleaning up? So that also will happen when you start recognizing those uncomfortable feelings that might be coming up. And I use feelings as uh, if it's your body that's feeling it, if it's your mind, if it's your emotions, whatever it is that's you're really igniting that feeling. Notice that the uncomfortable feeling means that there is probably stress there. And if you just hope for it to resolve on its own, there is a huge chance it won't. Because majority of the time, you will need to make a shift in order for something to shift. And I actually have a prime example. It happened this last week for myself. And I have many clients that go through experiences like this, but I just feel so called to share personally because we just moved into our new home in Northern California. And we had a big move. I have two kids, one's 2.5, and one is about 9 months. So they're on the younger side here. And I knew, okay, my daughter has done several moves with us. We moved from Big Island of Hawaii back to California while she was just before 2 and navigating different moves with her. I'm like, okay, we've learned from each one. Now, how can we help make this move easier for all of us? Because we're moving into a home and really trying to set up some learnings from what we've done before and finding moments of exposure, moments of, okay, here's the mindset that I can sit in that we may have challenges coming up. We may have, some stress throughout this process because that's going to happen and accepting that as we were navigating it. And we moved. And I just noticed a very uncomfortable feeling in my chest. And it took me about a week to really tune into it and go, what is that? What is it that's trying to move? And it was some tension between my partner and I. It had nothing to do with my kids. It had nothing to do with me and by myself, but there was tension because my partner and I weren't communicating in a way where we were being able to flow together and go, okay, this is working, this isn't working, because we were just putting our head to the ground like, okay, we're moving and we're unpacking and we're trying to get the kids together. And it's like, well, my partner and I weren't in rapport. And it took that moment of acknowledging in my own heart space, something's not working. Let's get uncomfortable. We sat down. I'm like, I need to get uncomfortable with you for a moment so we can get comfortable again. And before that, I was just trying to push through it and go, okay, maybe this will go away. No, never does. So really don't take that moment to just sit with it and do nothing about it. It's sit with it, acknowledge it's there, then notice what is your body trying to tell you.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
resonates with
Like,
you too, huh?
yeah, that analogy of gets messier before it gets better sometimes, lots of times. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I just cleaned out my garage. I had to put everything in the middle and then put some of it away and then bring more into the middle and put it away. And yeah, it was crazy. At one point, it's like, wow, it's worse than when I started. But then when I actually paid attention, it's like, no, I've got a lot of this in there. And you know what? If I just shift it like this, I can bring my car back in. And
Mhm.
so when I first started, there was no way I could get my car in the garage with as much stuff I had in there. It's all still in there, and now my car is in there. But it got way worse, but spread out, and then worse, and then it was a really bizarre process.
But did you do it all at once or did you take
Oh, it
time
took
to
me
really?
months.
Yeah. And sometimes it does. Sometimes I'm just going to do this one part of it and really acknowledge this one part before moving to the next, right?
Yeah.
But then you have a good, beautiful end goal like you just did.
Yeah, the car's in the garage. Everything's protected the way it needs to be, right? And he feels
But
accomplished because he got the car in the garage, which was the ultimate goal, right? Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And lots of times parents and people don't realize that when you are doing that deep work with your nervous system and stuff, the analogy of getting messy before it gets better, sometimes you'll have some major emotional, like, you know, outbursts or days where you're just like down is like, I just can't do anything else because I'm just so overwhelmed with everything that's running around. And then finally, there's a little bit of light a couple of days later. So
Hmm.
don't be afraid that you're doing it wrong. Let yourself know that it probably just part of the process. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, we've been through it, and this guy's been through it a lot with all of the information that he's had to process through and everything with his traumatic brain injury and everything. Yeah.
And I think something that you may be alluding to here is sometimes you need professional help, like going to a service professional to help navigate time. Maybe it's not forever, but you may have a hardship going on in the moment, and going and receiving direction or guidance can be beneficial than just trying to sit in it, especially if your family members or your friends, majority of the time they're going to peanut gallery with you and be like, yeah, that really sucks, versus giving direction and support in a way that's going to help move through it versus continuing to stay in it. Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Not about the nail.
It's not about the nail, right? She doesn't know because that was a very, very old commercial, but I bet.
Skit.
Oh, a skit. Yeah. Several people do. So let's talk about some of those regulation tools. Give us a tangible something that parents can use right now to feel more empowered when they need to be in control, and then help their children understand what's going on as well.
Right. First step, my husband and I really prime look at, are your base level needs met? If you're running on empty, you're running a mile a minute and you're going, okay, there's too much going on. Are your base level needs met? Are you getting enough sleep? And if not, is there a way you can start navigating that better? Are you eating well to nourish your body? Are you getting outside, getting some type of movement in your day? What those base level needs, as long as your base level is taking care of your body and your mind, then we can add from there. So when I don't use self-care, I say base level needs. That's the start there.
Go back to
And
being
then,
human.
Yeah. And most people forget the outside, the movement part, right?
yeah,
I'm getting sleep, I'm getting enough, but the outside part, the grounding and those actual.
Yeah, if you can, take your shoes off, put them in the grass.
Yeah.
yes, yes. Get your feet dirty. It's good. I just did that yesterday. I'm like, it feels amazing. I do it with my kids. I have my kids always wear shoes outside. We just sit on the grass and we're looking up at the trees and maybe we're swinging or running around. It feels good once you're out there, especially if for me, I have a crying baby sometimes. So I'm like, we just need to get outside. We need to go on a walk. We need to just lay in the grass. I'm not sure what it is. So I would start there. Check if your base level needs are met. And then when I'm running on empty, something when I was early postpartum with my first, my girlfriend actually shared this with me. She's also a coach, and she heard it from someone else. So this is just like down the line. And sometimes the most simple tool can be an amazing reminder of like, do this. So some people might say, take a deep breath. It's like, okay, when you're in the moment, that deep breath may be difficult for you to get to because deep breathing can help you get to the parasympathetic state. It's a natural mechanism. And sometimes my body needs more than that. So my friend said, make a playlist. She sent me hers because her and I have similar music taste, but I'm not going to send mine because my music taste may not be your music taste. And just make a playlist. But I'd take it to the next level in the playlist. Decide some songs that help you get in those feels. So when you're in the feels of whatever state it is, anger, sadness, fear, anxiousness, whatever it is, bring out some of that music that is in that state for you. But towards the end of the playlist, add some songs that are going to help you get out of that state. Exactly. A shift. So some people might like hard metal music to like be in the feels, and then they get into more of like a pop afterwards. Like whatever it is for you, create that playlist. And it can take 5 minutes. You might already have some, but just kind of pick it together. One of my songs that I know I'm getting towards the end of my playlist, and my daughter loves this song, and I know why, is because I've played this playlist a lot in my house during my own moments of feels, is Shake It Off by Taylor Swift. We play that song anytime we're exactly, Heather. I see it. We just literally shake it off in that song, and it feels so good in our bodies. And we're always so grateful that we're in a space where we can play music like this at the touch of a button. Like we're in that state now. So make a playlist so then you can play it whenever you need to. Play it in the shower while you're getting ready. Play it while you're cooking. Play it while you're driving. Wherever you are, have that playlist ready to go. And take only a couple minutes to create it.
And I'm really curious if people would be willing to put some of those ideas down. What would their playlist include, right? For me, I would start out with like country blues, those, those sad songs that make me cry, whatever, whatever. And then believe it or not, with some of the Hawaiian traditionals. I love the Hawaiian upbeat, happy songs, and it just gets me into this groove of moving forward. So yeah, that's pretty cool for me. Anybody else? Pop it in the chat.
Yeah. Beatles. Yes. Would that be your upbeat or would that be your it feels your upbeat? Yeah. Love it.
Awesome.
So my thought is here is that it's a little different for guys. We do get into our music, but it is also in a different direction. So well, I'm not even necessarily sure where to go with that. It just felt kind of important to say that, is because it's like girls get into their feels differently than guys do. And sometimes, especially around other guys, it's important not to do that. So how do we reconcile that as parents to be to still be sturdy? Because women, a lot of times they say, oh yeah, I like a man to get into their feels, but they really don't.
Mm-hmm.
They really don't. It's not safe. So how do we reconcile that?
The safety component, or the aspect that you may not be in the feels in the way that your partner want to be in feels. I want to make sure I get your question correct.
Um, we'll take that either way.
Okay. Well, first I would acknowledge, okay, what does my partner, how do they experience their emotions? My husband is a thinker in his emotions. He weighs out all of the options. He can see both sides, and then he'll tell me what's going on. But his brain runs a mile a minute, and he's not necessarily a feeler. He's more of a thinker. If you're thinking Myers-Briggs, if you're familiar with personality testing, that's just how his brain works and how his emotions work. So I know that about my partner. I would acknowledge, how does your partner go through emotions first and foremost? My husband loves getting silly and dancing, and that's just so we still play music, but he doesn't have a playlist like I do to be in the feels. But he does play music to help him be in an upbeat space if he's feeling low. So that is one thing I will say. Music can still be a trigger or ignite an emotional response. But he's not much of a writer or like to journal. Like I love journaling too, but my husband doesn't like doing that. He'd rather go on a drive. He'd rather have his convertible top down, a coffee in his hand, and go on a nice little drive to help clear his mind. That's something that helps regulate him. And I know that about him. So if there's a time where we need to connect, I honestly go, okay, can we get a sitter? Can we just go on a drive? Because I know that that'll help you. I'll feel good because I'm outside. And that's just a way we can connect as well. Or he can go do that on his own if he needs to. Does that make sense?
Yes. It's
Yeah, I
just
love
it's
that.
just kind of
Yeah.
interesting that you were saying that getting into his head and thinking is his version of feeling, because I do that,
Yeah.
but for me it's almost getting away from the feelings because they're not as important as what needs to be done next.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so, yeah,
Again,
it was
is
just
that push through?
it was just an interesting point of view.
Yeah.
It was like, oh yeah, he gets into his feelings by thinking, and it's like, people, that just sounded a little weird to me. But again, that's the way my brain works. So
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
And we all work differently. Some women may not be feelers like this. They're more of the go, 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 and they think through it. And so maybe that resonates with you as a woman as well. And there are archetypes within each that can create just harmony in a relationship. So maybe your partner is more of the feeler, and that's cool.
Mitra, this has been awesome. Thank you so very, very much. Those tangible ideas, those I examples, etc. I love the music and all the different things that you've been saying. Thanks for helping parents show up with energy and being aligned and nervous system regulated, because unfortunately so many people think, oh, when you say take care of yourself first, it's like, oh, you just go take a bubble bath or you lock yourself in a room for a while and ignore other people. It's like, no, there's more to it when there's children involved. So thank you for bringing this concrete example to all of that. Would you please make sure that you share your free gift and your VIP gift with our audience?
Absolutely. So, my free gift is a free 5-day nervous system reset challenge. This is for all attendees. So, you're welcome to take on the link. I think it'll be posted in a moment, but there's a link that you can utilize, and you can join this 5-day reset challenge. It will have 5 different tools that you can utilize throughout the 5 days and beyond, and they take 5 minutes or less to incorporate into your day. So, it's something that you'll get throughout your practice. And then for our VIP guests, there is a little discount for you if you're interested in working one-on-one with me or joining a group program. Just feel free to schedule a call with me directly, and we can touch base about what's going to be best and highest for you, whether it's with me or someone else.
Awesome. Thank you so very, very much.
Yeah.
Wow. Amazing. Again, Tons of great information for all of you. Thank you, audience, for being here. Thank you, Mitra, for all the wisdom and important things that you've been putting into the summit. And thank you for being here.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for your gifts. And it's just another reason that people should sign up. So thank you very much.
All right, we will be back at the bottom of the hour with our next speaker, Miss Jackie Bailey. And until then, take care of you, right? This is the way we set this up on purpose. Get your drinks, take your stretch, and then come back and be ready to learn some more. All right, we'll see you in a couple minutes.